I leaned back on the couch, watching Maya scroll through her phone like it was the most important thing in the world. "You've been on that thing for hours," I said, trying to keep my tone light, but there was a knot in my chest. She glanced up, smiling lazily. "I'm just checking messages. Don't overthink it." "I'm not overthinking. I hesitated, I just wish you'd tell me when you go out late." Maya rolled her eyes and laughed, the kind of laugh that made everyone around her forget what was wrong. "Late? It's 10, not midnight. You worry too much." "I worry because I care," I said, feeling my voice tighten. "I don't like not knowing where you are." She leaned closer, brushing my shoulder. "You're adorable when you worry. Seriously. But relax, okay? I'm not disappearing." Her words should have calmed me, but they didn't. There was something in the way she smiled, too perfect, too practiced. I shook my head, telling myself I was being paranoid. Maya always made me feel like I was imagining problems. Later, I called Amir. His voice, steady and cautious, was a comfort. "So, she's out late again?" he asked. She says it's nothing. But I've noticed these little lies lately." I ran a hand through my hair. "Maybe I'm imagining things." "Trust your instincts," Amir said firmly. "I've known you a long time. You don't imagine these patterns. You should pay attention." "I know," I said, biting my lip. "I just want to believe she's honest. I really do. She's charming, I get it. But charm hides a lot of things. Don't let yourself get blind." I hung up and stared at the ceiling, feeling torn. Maya was perfect in every way, the girl everyone envied. My friends, family, even co-workers seemed to adore her. And yet, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. The next evening, she came home smelling faintly of someone else's perfume. I froze. "Maya, what's that?" Her brow lifted, and she laughed. "Relax, it's just a friend's cologne." "You're imagining things again." "I'm not imagining anything," I said, my voice firmer. "You're hiding something." She tilted her head, eyes sparkling with mock innocence. "Hiding? Me? Darling, you're overreacting. You're always so calm, so sure," I muttered. "How do you do it?" "I've told you, I'm just confident." "You worry too much," she said, giving me that disarming smile that made me doubt myself instantly. I wanted to push further, to demand the truth, but I didn't. Maya had that effect on me, she made me question reality, made me feel like a fool for even thinking she could deceive me. I called Amir again, pacing the apartment. "She smells like someone else. I can't shake it." "Don't confront her yet. Gather facts, be smart," he advised. "You're emotional right now. If you explode, she wins." "I hate that she has this effect on me," I admitted, my chest tight. "It's like I'm trapped in her world, and I can't see clearly." "You'll see soon enough. Just, be careful," Amir warned. That night, Maya vanished. No text, no call, nothing. I waited by my phone, heart hammering in my chest, imagining every scenario, some innocent, some terrifying. Hours passed, and the apartment grew silent except for the hum of the refrigerator. By 3 a.m., I realized she wasn't coming back tonight. I sank onto the couch, hugging my knees. "Where are you, Maya?" I whispered into the empty room. Her absence left a strange emptiness, a mix of fear and longing. I wanted to trust her, to believe her charm and smile meant everything was fine. But a small voice inside me, one I had tried to ignore, whispered that this was only the beginning. I closed my eyes, replaying every conversation, every smile, every late-night excuse. And for the first time, I felt the tiniest seed of doubt grow inside me, uninvited but impossible to ignore. I stared at my phone for the third time in 10 minutes, wondering why Maya hadn't replied to my text. She's probably busy, I told myself, but the knot in my stomach refused to loosen. When she finally walked in, I tried to sound casual. "Hey, missed my call earlier?" Maya smiled, flipping her hair back. "Oh, that. I was just busy." "You worry too much, really." "I don't think that's it," I said, lowering my voice. "You've been avoiding me lately. Skipping calls, disappearing without a word." Her laugh was soft, teasing. "Avoiding? Come on, I've been with friends." "You're imagining things." "I'm not imagining anything," I said, frustration rising. I don't like feeling left out, like I don't know what's going on in your life." She shrugged, lounging on the couch. "You'd rather control me than trust me." "I can't win." "You don't understand. It's not control, I just want honesty." My words felt hollow even as I said them. "Honesty is complicated," she said, smiling in that way that made me question myself instantly. Later, I called Amir, pacing around my apartment. "Something's off, Amir. I can feel it." "What do you mean?" His voice was calm but edged with concern. "She's hiding things. Missed calls, secretive texts. I even caught her laughing at her phone, like she was sharing a joke with someone else." "You're not overreacting," he said firmly. "Patterns don't lie. Trust your instincts. If your gut tells you something's wrong, it usually is." I sank onto the couch, burying my face in my hands. I don't want to believe it. I've never been good at seeing the truth when it hurts this much." Amir's sigh was heavy. "Pain is messy. But ignoring it won't make it go away. Keep your eyes open. Don't let charm blind you." I hung up and tried to distract myself with work, but the thought of Maya gnawed at me. Dinner with my family only made it worse. "Is everything okay with Maya?" my sister asked, glancing at me with concern. I forced a smile. "Yeah, just a little stressed at work. Nothing serious." My mom frowned, watching me closely. "You've seemed off lately. Are you sure it's nothing with her?" "I'm fine," I said too quickly. "Really?" I avoided the topic the rest of the evening, but their eyes kept following me, their worry like a quiet echo I couldn't shake. The next afternoon, I wandered into the café near her apartment, hoping for some clarity. And then I saw them. Maya, sitting across from a man I didn't recognize, laughing, leaning in close. Her hand brushed his arm, casual, intimate. My stomach dropped. I froze. "No, this can't be real." I approached, voice trembling. "Maya." Her head shot up, surprised. "Oh, hey. What are you doing here?" I swallowed, trying to sound calm. "Who's this?" She waved her hand dismissively. "Oh, just a friend. Don't worry about it." I shook my head, hurt breaking through my chest. "A friend? You're sitting like this, holding his hand, smiling like that." Maya's eyes narrowed slightly, but her tone remained light. "You're overreacting. I told you, he's just a friend. You're jealous." "Jealous?" I repeated, my voice cracking. "Jealous isn't the word. I feel betrayed." She laughed softly, like I was a child throwing a tantrum. "Betrayed? Really? You trust too easily. I can't be blamed for your imagination." I wanted to scream, to demand the truth, but her calm certainty made me falter. My anger twisted into confusion, and confusion into doubt. Maybe I am overreacting, maybe I never really knew her. Walking home, my thoughts swirled. Every late-night story she told, every excuse for disappearing, could it all have been lies? I opened my apartment door and slumped against it, feeling smaller than I had ever felt. Am I imagining all of this, or is she really, hiding her life from me? The question hovered, unanswered, as I sank onto the couch. The image of her with that man replayed endlessly in my mind, taunting me. I wanted to call Amir, to hear his calm voice reminding me I wasn't crazy, but I knew the answer would only confirm what I feared. The perfect illusion I believed in was cracking, and there was no going back to the way things were. That night, I stared at my ceiling, wondering how I could have been so blind. Maya smiled in my memory, flawless and untouchable, while a growing ache in my chest whispered that I'd never see her the same way again. I stood frozen outside our apartment door, my hand trembling as I gripped the handle. I can't believe this, I whispered to myself. Maya opened the door, smiling as if nothing had changed. You're home early, she said casually. Don't, I hissed, stepping inside. Don't act like this is normal. I saw the messages, Maya. The plan. You were leaving me for him, weren't you? Her smile faltered for a split second before she composed herself. Messages? Plan? What are you talking about? You know exactly what I mean. I shouted, my chest tight. All those nights you disappeared, all those lies. I trusted you. I loved you. Maya leaned against the counter, arms crossed, and laughed softly. Loved me? Oh, sweetheart. That's rich. I never asked for your trust. You gave it willingly. It's your own fault for being naive. I felt my stomach twist. Naive? Naive? You played me. You used me. How could you be so cruel? She shrugged, looking almost bored. Cruel. Life isn't about fairness, darling. I saw an opportunity, and I took it. Simple as that. Simple as that? I repeated, my voice breaking. You think destroying someone else's heart is simple? Maya rolled her eyes, brushing past me toward the living room. Oh, please. Stop whining. You were clingy, needy, and completely predictable. I got bored. That's all there is to it. I felt my hands curl into fists. Bored? You're saying you betrayed me because you were bored? Exactly. Her tone was cold, final. I'm not sorry. I never was. You're the one who believed in fairy tales. I shook my head, tears stinging my eyes. I can't. I can't believe I wasted all this time on you. Maya smirked. Wasted? You think loving me was a waste? No, it was an education. Now you know who I really am. Grow up. The words hit me like a punch to the gut. I stumbled back, barely catching myself on the arm of the sofa. You're unbelievable. You're heartless. Her voice softened mockingly. Heartless? Sweetheart, I'm just honest. You wanted honesty? I could feel my knees weaken. This isn't honesty, it's cruelty. Pure cruelty. Maya tilted her head, her expression unreadable. I told you, life isn't fair. You're lucky you even got this long with me. I swallowed hard, trying to steady my voice. Lucky? I trusted you. I gave you everything. And this is how you repay me? She shrugged again, as if she hadn't just broken me apart. You're overdramatic. Move on. You'll survive. I felt like the floor had disappeared beneath me. Survive? You don't understand, you don't get it. Before I could collapse into despair, my phone buzzed. Amir's name flashed across the screen. I answered, voice shaking. Amir. I don't know what to do. Calm down, he said immediately, steady and firm. Tell me exactly what happened. I rattled off the confrontation, my words sharp, raw, unfiltered. She doesn't care. She's selfish. She planned to leave me for someone else. I can't deal with this alone. Amir's sigh was heavy. I told you to watch her. You saw it. Now, get out before you say something you'll regret. Don't let her break you completely. I wiped my face, my chest heaving. I can't just walk away. Part of me wants revenge. Forget revenge, Amir said firmly. That's poison for your soul. Leave now, build yourself back up. Don't let her define you. She doesn't deserve a moment of your energy. I nodded slowly, swallowing the lump in my throat. You're right. I need to leave. Maya noticed my hesitation. Where are you going? Leaving me? Yes, I said, finally finding my voice. I'm leaving. I'm done with this, with you. I deserve better than lies and games. Her laugh echoed around the apartment, sharp and hollow. Good luck finding anyone like me. I paused at the door, my hand on the knob. I don't want anyone like you. I want someone real. Someone who cares. Her smirk faded slightly, replaced by a fleeting shadow of something, regret, maybe. But it was gone before I could be sure. Whatever you say, she said, voice dismissive. I stepped out of the apartment, the hallway feeling strangely open, as if it had been waiting for me to claim it. My steps were slow at first, heavy with grief, anger, and humiliation. But with every step, I felt something else rising, determination. Amir, I whispered into my phone. I'm leaving her. I'm really leaving her. Good, he said, calm and unwavering. Now breathe. Start over. Focus on you. This isn't the end. It's the beginning. I hung up, feeling a strange mix of relief and pain. The apartment door closed behind me, leaving her world behind. My heart ached, but I could already sense the faint spark of strength flickering inside me. For the first time in weeks, I felt a small, tentative clarity. She had shattered the illusion I lived in, but now, I could start building my own life, on my terms. No more lies. No more betrayal. No more Maya. The night air hit me as I stepped onto the street, sharp and real. I drew in a deep breath, letting the cold fill my lungs. Anger and grief still churned inside me, but so did resolve. I would survive this. I would thrive. And one day, I would look back and see this as the moment I took my life back. I woke up to the ceiling again, staring at the cracks and shadows like they were judging me. My phone buzzed with a message from Amir. Morning. Coffee later. You need to eat. I groaned. I don't even feel hungry, I muttered aloud. Yeah, I figured, Amir's voice said when I called him instead. Look, you can't sit in your apartment moping. You need to get out. I feel empty, Amir. Everything reminds me of her. You're allowed to feel that. But wallowing won't fix anything. Start small. Go for a walk, work on a project, do something for you. I sighed. Fine. I'll try. At the office, Sarah noticed me immediately. Hey, are you okay? She asked softly, hovering near my desk. I forced a smile. Yeah, just tired. You've been off lately. I see it, she said, tilting her head. You know you can talk to someone, right? I hesitated. I don't really want to talk about it. People don't like listening to me complain. Sarah smiled gently. I do. And it's not complaining if it helps you heal. Her words made something stir inside me. I don't know where to start. Start with how you feel, she suggested. No one's judging. I took a deep breath. I trusted someone completely. And she betrayed me. I don't think I'll ever feel the same way again. Sarah nodded slowly. That hurts. But it's not the end of the world. You'll find trust again, in someone who deserves it. Her kindness hit me harder than I expected. You really think so? I know so, she said firmly. I see you. You're smart, compassionate, and strong, even if you don't feel it right now. Later, Amir called again. How's the new coworker treating you? She's nice. She listens. Actually cares, I admitted, a faint smile breaking through. Good. That's what I like to hear. Keep letting yourself connect. You need this. At home, I tried following his advice. I cleaned the apartment, rearranged things, even dug out my old sketchbook. My hand shook at first as I sketched, but with every line, I felt a little more control, a little less emptiness. I kept replaying Maya's betrayal in my mind, bitter and sharp. But instead of letting it consume me, I tried to channel it, into focus, into action. I was naive, too trusting, too dependent on her validation. I admitted it to myself for the first time. Sarah noticed my small steps, too. You've changed since last week, she said quietly during lunch. You look calmer. More present. I shrugged. I'm trying. Some days are harder than others. She smiled, encouraging but not intrusive. That's okay. It's progress, not perfection. Her sincerity made me feel safe. For the first time in weeks, I didn't have to perform or hide. I could just be. One evening, scrolling mindlessly through my phone, a notification popped up. Maya had posted a picture with him, her new boyfriend, smiling, glamorous, everything she knew would sting. I clenched my fists, heart thudding painfully. Damn it, I muttered. She wants me to see this. Sarah looked over my shoulder and frowned. Ignore it. That's her world, not yours. I know, I said, taking a deep breath. But it still hurts. That's normal, she said softly. Pain is part of moving on. But don't let her control how you feel anymore. You're stronger than that. Her words stuck. I stared at Maya's post again, this time letting anger mix with resolve instead of despair. I wouldn't let her victories define me. I called Amir. I saw her post, I said, voice tight but controlled. Anne. I feel something. Not just anger, but determination. Good, he said simply. Use it. Focus on yourself. Build your life. Don't chase her, don't obsess. You're better than that. I exhaled, a shaky laugh escaping me. Yeah. I am. That night, I sat by the window, looking out at the city lights. My apartment no longer felt suffocating, it felt like a space to rebuild. I sketched, texted Sarah about an idea for a weekend hike, and even planned a small project at work. Maya's shadow lingered, bitter and sharp, but I carried it like a weight I could lift, reminder of what I refused to become, someone defined by another's lies. I whispered into the night, I'll survive this. I'll come back stronger. And for the first time in weeks, I believed it. I jogged through the park, earbuds blasting, trying to empty my mind, but thoughts of Maya kept slipping in. My pace slowed, and I exhaled sharply. I can't keep running from this, I muttered aloud. Amir's voice came through my headphones as if he'd read my mind. Good morning, strategist. Have you thought about the plan yet? I'm thinking, I said, panting. But I don't want this to be petty. Petty isn't the goal, Amir said. This is about reclaiming your life. Focus on yourself first, career, fitness, everything. Show her what she's missing without even trying to hurt her. I can do that, I said, slowing to a walk. Sometimes it's hard to stay motivated. You survived heartbreak, Amir reminded me. You can survive this. You need a framework, a set of goals. What are they? I ran a hand through my hair. Better shape, more focus at work, more independence, and maybe I'll pick up some hobbies I'd neglected. Art, music, that kind of thing. Perfect. Let's make it a visible transformation, subtle but undeniable, Amir said. People notice energy, confidence, presence. That's your weapon. I smiled faintly, adrenaline starting to build. I like that. Silent power. I can do silent power. A week later, I set the first pieces in motion. At work, I stayed late, took on extra projects, and started leading meetings instead of hiding behind quiet observation. Sarah noticed. You've changed again, she said one afternoon. You're assertive now. Confident. I shrugged. I'm just trying to be someone I can respect. That's all. She smiled softly. Well, it's working. You look good. Not just physically, but whole. I avoided looking at her too long, afraid my emotions would show. Whole. That's the goal. Whole and untouchable. At the gym, I pushed myself harder than ever. One more set, I whispered, sweat dripping, muscles burning. I'm doing this for me, not her. Amir's text buzzed, good. Make it visible. Confidence isn't just feeling it, it's radiating it. I smirked, imagining Maya seeing me, thinking I'd fallen apart. She wouldn't. She would see someone entirely different, someone thriving without her, someone she couldn't manipulate. The night of the party arrived. Mutual friends gathered, laughter echoing through the hall. I stepped inside, chest held high, scanning for Maya. There she was, across the room, draped in her usual perfection, laughing at something someone said. Our eyes met, and her smile flickered. Not charm, not warmth, something sharper, like a challenge. I walked over casually. Hey, Maya, I said, voice steady. Look at you, she said, her tone playful but edged. You look different. Happier, maybe? I smiled faintly. I'm living my life. You should try it sometime. Her laugh was quick, teasing. Oh, I'm living just fine. You, on the other hand, you seem changed. Is it me, or are you hiding something? Nothing to hide, I said, voice even. Just learning to focus on what matters. My career, my health, my life. She raised an eyebrow, her smugness obvious. You're acting like you're untouchable now. Did it take losing me to realize that? I shook my head. I realized I'm worth more than someone who doesn't value me. That's the difference. Maya's smile faltered, just slightly. You think you've won? That this change proves something? I'm not trying to prove anything, I said. I'm just me. And for the first time, that's enough. Her gaze lingered, sharp, assessing. Interesting. I wonder how long that lasts. I let her words slide, letting calm and control radiate from me. Not her game. Not her rules. I moved on, chatting with friends, laughing genuinely, letting my presence be noticed without demanding it. Later, I caught Amir's eye across the room. He raised his hand slightly, a subtle nod of approval. Exactly like we planned, his expression said. I took a deep breath, a flicker of pride warming my chest. This was it, the first night I felt like I had reclaimed something from the wreckage she left behind. I wasn't fragile, desperate for approval. I was deliberate, focused, alive. Maya tried once more, sending a glance filled with that familiar arrogance. I met it with neutrality, a quiet strength she couldn't pierce. For the first time, I wasn't affected by her presence. I was aware of it, but untouched. On my way out, I whispered to myself, this is just the beginning. And deep down, I knew it was true. Karma had its course, but my life, my growth, was mine to command. I would continue building, improving, thriving, and letting the rest unfold naturally. No more illusions. No more dependence. No more Maya defining me. I walked into the night, the city lights reflecting my determination, the first steps toward a life that was entirely my own. I was at work when the whispers started. I couldn't hear everything, but snippets reached me, Maya this, Maya that. Something was shifting. Sarah leaned toward me at the coffee machine. Have you noticed? People are starting to see her differently. I raised an eyebrow. Differently how? She shrugged, eyes cautious. I don't know all the details. Just, the charm she relied on. It's cracking. Some coworkers are questioning her work, her attitude, even her perfect image. I nodded slowly, feeling a quiet satisfaction I didn't expect. I guess actions have consequences. Sarah smiled gently. Yeah. But don't let it make you smug. You've moved past that, right? I have, I said firmly. I'm focused on me now. This isn't about revenge. It's closure, in a way. Later that evening, Amir called. Update me, he said, his voice calm but amused. People are noticing Maya's flaws, I said, chuckling softly. It's subtle, but it's happening. Her lover, some friends, they're questioning her now. Good. Let them see her for what she really is, Amir said. But remember, this isn't your battle. You're doing your work, improving yourself. Karma doesn't need help, it just unfolds. I leaned back on my chair, reflecting. You're right. I used to want her to fail in dramatic ways. Now. I just want to live well. That's enough. The next day, Sarah and I stayed late working on a project together. You've really grown these past weeks, she said softly. Not just in confidence, but in how you handle people. Your energy's different. I smiled, feeling warmth spread through me. It's not easy, but I've realized I can't control others. I can only control me, my choices. She nodded, her gaze lingering. And that's powerful. Most people never figure that out. I felt a flicker of pride. Thanks. I'm glad I have someone to talk to, someone who sees me without judgment. Her hand brushed mine accidentally as she reached for a notebook. I didn't pull away. It feels good to trust again, I admitted. She smiled. It should. You deserve it. A week later, at a mutual friends gathering, I saw Maya trying her usual tactics, flirting, charm, laughs meant to draw attention. Her lover stood nearby, his smile stiff, eyes darting uncomfortably. I caught snippets of conversation. Really, he whispered, voice low. Is she always like this? I've noticed, another friend said quietly. Maya glanced in my direction, spotting me talking with Sarah. Her smile flickered into something sharper. There he is, she murmured to herself. Trying to show off with his new friend. Sarah leaned closer. Ignore her, she whispered. She's not worth it. I nodded, feeling calm, untouchable. Not my problem, I thought. I don't need to engage. Maya approached anyway, her steps deliberate. So, thriving without me, huh? She said, her tone laced with mockery. I smiled faintly. Thriving, yes. And honestly, I feel free. Lighter than I have in months. Her eyes narrowed. Free. You think this is freedom? You're still thinking about me. I shook my head slowly. No, Maya. I'm aware of you, but I'm not controlled by you. That's the difference. She stared, visibly frustrated, but I could see the moment she realized, her usual tricks no longer worked. My calm, composed energy neutralized her attempts at provocation. You've changed, she muttered, voice low. I have, I confirmed, meeting her gaze evenly. And that change isn't about you. It's about me. She lingered for a moment, searching for some crack in my demeanor, but there was none. Finally, she turned, her smile forced, and walked away. I exhaled, a mix of relief and quiet satisfaction washing over me. Sarah grinned beside me. You handled that beautifully. You didn't even have to fight. I nodded. It feels strange, almost peaceful. I expected anger, but I feel clarity instead. Clarity is stronger than anger, she said softly. Later that night, Amir called again. So, he asked. She tried, I admitted. But I didn't bite. I didn't care. And you know what? It feels powerful. Good. That's exactly what we worked on. You're no longer reactive. You're proactive, in control of yourself. That's real strength. I paused, letting the words sink in. I've realized something. Karma isn't me punishing her. It's life balancing itself. I don't need to intervene. I just need to keep moving forward. Exactly, Amir said, calm and approving. You're building a life she can't touch. That's more satisfying than any petty revenge. I smiled faintly, looking around my apartment after the call. The space felt lighter, like it belonged to me now. The lingering shadow of Maya no longer dictated my mood or my energy. For the first time, I truly understood it, life balances itself. Those who act selfishly eventually face consequences. And those who choose growth, honesty, and self-respect reap the rewards. The city lights outside my window reflected a new perspective, one where I no longer chased illusions, no longer measured myself by another's standards. I was standing on my own. And if Maya sought attention or validation, it no longer mattered. I was untouchable, not because I held power over her, but because I held it over myself. I met Sarah at the café near work, the one with the warm lights and quiet corners. She waved from our usual table, smiling softly. Hey, I said, sliding into the seat across from her. How's your day? Busy, but good, she replied. And yours? I shrugged. Productive, I guess. Trying to keep my mind busy. Sarah tilted her head. Still thinking about everything? I nodded. Yeah. Some days are easier than others. But I'm learning. Slowly. You're stronger than you realize, she said, voice gentle but firm. Stronger than I could have guessed when we first met. I chuckled softly. I wasn't always like this. I used to. I don't know, let everything control me. My insecurities, it was overwhelming. Sarah reached across the table, touching my hand lightly. You survived that. You're still here, still growing. That's what matters. I looked down at her hand, warm against mine. I didn't realize how much I needed someone to see me, without judgment. Not to fix me, just see me. That's what I'm here for, she said simply. No games. No hidden motives. Just honesty. I smiled, feeling a small weight lift from my chest. I appreciate that. More than I can say. We talked for hours, work, life, hopes, mistakes. She laughed when I admitted my ridiculous attempts at cooking, and I teased her about her obsession with organizing every little thing. Our conversation flowed easily, naturally, without pressure. You know, Sarah said quietly, it's rare to meet someone who's actually present. You are. I felt my chest tighten. I think I finally am. After everything, I've realized what matters. Who I want in my life, what I want from myself. Sarah's eyes met mine, steady and sincere. And I want to be part of that. If you'll let me. I swallowed, emotions rising. I'd like that. Really. Later that week, my phone buzzed. Maya. I froze, thumb hovering over the screen. Don't answer, I whispered to myself. Who's texting? Sarah asked, glancing over. No one, I said quickly, sliding the phone away. Sarah raised an eyebrow. That doesn't look like nothing. I shook my head, a small smile tugging at my lips. It's nothing I need. She's had her chance. I'm not going back. Sarah nodded, understanding. Good. You've grown. Don't let her drag you back. I exhaled, relief washing over me. I'm done. Truly done. At work, I felt the confidence I'd been building settle into a steady rhythm. Conversations with colleagues were natural, collaborative. I laughed easily, even offered advice without hesitation. The energy I carried wasn't about impressing anyone, it was about being fully myself. One evening, Sarah and I decided to take a walk after dinner. The streets were quiet, streetlights casting soft reflections on wet pavement. I like this, I said, glancing at her. No pressure, no distractions. Just us. She smiled. Me too. It feels normal. Comfortable. And that's a rare thing. I nodded, feeling a calm I hadn't known in months. I used to define myself by her. My anger, my sadness, they took over everything. But now, I feel free. Free to build my life, my happiness, without shadows lurking behind me. Sarah squeezed my hand gently. And I'm glad you let me be part of that. We're both building something new. I smiled, watching the way the light caught her hair. Something real. Something worth trusting. We walked in silence for a few blocks, the quiet only adding to the sense of peace. I reflected on the path I'd taken, heartbreak, betrayal, anger, and finally, growth. Every step, every painful lesson had led me here. I used to think moving on meant forgetting, I said softly. But I've realized it's about learning. Learning who you are, what you deserve, and refusing to settle for less. Sarah looked at me, eyes warm. Exactly. And I see that in you. You've changed, but in the best way. Stronger, wiser, more yourself. I squeezed her hand, feeling gratitude and hope welling inside me. Thank you. For being here, for seeing me. Her smile was steady, calm, reassuring. Always. As we reached the end of the street, I felt a rare, steady peace settle in me. No lingering anger, no obsession, no shadows. Just me, Sarah, and the quiet promise of something genuine. I whispered to myself, a soft affirmation, this is freedom. This is my life now. And for the first time in a long while, I believed it fully. I was sitting at the café with Sarah when my phone buzzed. It was Amir. Hey, I answered, curiosity prickling. You're not going to believe this, Amir said, his voice low but excited. Maya, she's in trouble. Big trouble. I frowned. What do you mean? Her betrayal, it's public now. Everyone knows about him, her lies, the manipulation. Even her friends are turning away. I felt a strange mix of emotions, vindication, relief, and an odd twinge of pity. Wow, I whispered. I didn't expect this to hit me like it does. Amir chuckled softly. You mean you're not dancing in glee? I shook my head. No. I feel calm. Free. I don't need to celebrate her downfall. I guess it proves what I already know. Karma finds its way. Sarah leaned closer, her hand brushing mine. That's good. That you can feel that way. It shows you've really grown. I smiled faintly. I think so. I've spent months thinking about her, letting anger consume me, but now, I don't feel the need to. I just feel relief. And closure. You've rebuilt yourself, Sarah said quietly. You've created a life where someone like her can't touch you anymore. That's what matters. I nodded, staring at my coffee. It took losing her, taking time to heal, and realizing what I actually deserve. I was naive, too trusting, but I've learned my worth. Amir's voice echoed in my mind, control yourself, build yourself, let life unfold. He was right. Later, we met Amir at the park. So, you heard the news? He asked. Yes, I said. And you know what? I feel, strangely compassionate. I don't hate her. I just hope she learns, really learns. Maybe then she won't hurt anyone else. Amir smiled, clapping me on the shoulder. That's maturity, my friend. You've moved from revenge to understanding. That's true strength. I let out a breath I didn't know I'd been holding. For months, I thought closure would come from her failing spectacularly. But it comes from me standing tall, from me living my life fully. Sarah squeezed my hand. And you are. Every day, you're proving it, to yourself more than anyone else. I nodded, a small grin forming. I guess that's why I feel so balanced now. Not lighter, not happier exactly, but right. Whole. Amir chuckled. Whole is good. Whole is powerful. You've reclaimed your life completely. We sat there, watching the sunset, letting the quiet moments stretch. I thought of the months of heartbreak, rage, and confusion. Each moment had shaped me. Each painful memory had built the resilience I now carried like armor, gentle but impenetrable. You've come far, Sarah said softly. From despair to this. It's inspiring. I shrugged, smiling faintly. I didn't do it alone. You and Amir, you reminded me I wasn't powerless. You reminded me I was worth fighting for, even if the fight was with myself. Sarah leaned her head on my shoulder. And you're finally free from her shadow. It's real, isn't it? I nodded. Yes. I'm not defined by what she did to me anymore. I'm defined by how I rebuilt myself, by the life I've created, and the people I trust and love now. A gentle breeze brushed past us. I felt a strange sense of completion. Not an ending filled with fireworks or dramatic payback, but quiet, solid, and empowering. Amir smirked. So, what's next, champ? I laughed softly. Next, is living. Loving without fear. Growing without limits. And maybe, seeing how far I can go without looking back. Sarah's hand found mine again. Then we'll walk it together, step by step. I nodded, looking at both of them, realizing this was the life I'd been striving for, the life I'd finally earned. Not from revenge, not from anger, but from resilience, self-respect, and love reborn. I whispered to myself, a soft but determined vow, I've survived betrayal. I've found strength. I've found myself. And in that quiet moment, watching the sun dip below the horizon, I knew it was only the beginning of everything I could become. Sarah and I sat on the balcony, watching the city lights shimmer. I took a deep breath. You know. I never thought I'd feel this, at peace. She smiled, tilting her head. I can see it in you. You've changed. Stronger, calmer, more yourself. I've learned a lot, I said. Trust wisely, value myself, and never let someone else's choices define my worth. Sarah reached for my hand. And you won't. Not anymore. I nodded, squeezing her hand. It's funny. I spent so long dwelling on her, Maya, thinking my life revolved around her approval, her betrayal. But all of that, it taught me something. What's that? She asked, curiosity in her voice. That life gives second chances, I said softly. Not necessarily to fix what's broken, but to rebuild, to do better, to be better. And I got one. With myself. With us. Sarah leaned closer, resting her head lightly on my shoulder. I'm glad you see it that way. That's what matters, moving forward together. I smiled, feeling warmth I hadn't known in years. And Maya, she's a memory now. A lesson, a cautionary tale. I feel no bitterness anymore. Just clarity. And gratitude. Gratitude for the people who stayed, the people who truly cared, and the life I get to build now. Sarah lifted her gaze, eyes soft but steady. Then let's make it worth it. Every day. I laughed quietly, the sound light and free. Every day. No regrets, no shadows, no lingering doubts. Just us, and the life we choose to live. And in that moment, I realized, finally, fully, that I was free.